Okay, let's talk about this year's E3. I didn't watch. I watched Sunday's Bethesda showing. I didn't watch Microsoft or Sony's conference because I had shit to do. And I didn't watch Nintendo's conference live. I watched it after the fact. So let's talk about it. Um, what can I say except, my God, this was a very interesting. Um, this was an interesting E3. I had lowered expectations. I really didn't give a shit about what they were gonna. I didn't really give a shit about what anyone was gonna do. EA, Activision, third parties, big three. I was like, whatever. I was pleasantly surprised by Nintendo showing, but Microsoft. Um, all I can say about Microsoft is this: they have balls of steel, big breath, big balls of steel. Because I guess they're gonna keep on trying to push the Xbox division, um, which is amazing to me. Um, Sony's conference was boring as fuck to me, but I mean, even with my lowered expectations, it was lackluster to me. Um, EA's conference was especially lackluster. Just E3 this year was just kind of shitty. Um, I know some people are gonna get mad, but I don't really care. It was remarkably shitty this year. So now that we've talked about that, I guess it's time to talk about the individual conferences. So we'll get into those after the cut. So we're back. So as the title placard says, this year's E3 presentation from third parties was shitty, to say the least. Um, EA showed off a lot of Star Wars stuff. Battlefield, like basically everything that we thought they were going to show off, they showed off. I was a little bit surprised that people were enthusiastic about Battlefield stuff. I mean, we all know that all of these Battlefield games are just going to be little shitty cash tie-ins, shitty license games with the Star Wars license, and that's all they're going to be. So I find it amusing that some people are excited about these games. But if that's what you like, that's what you like. Me personally, I'm not happy that EA has the Star Wars license, and the games that they're releasing. The games that I want to see from EA, they don't have. So, um, they don't have a they don't have a they don't have a Jade Empire 2. They don't have a Dragon Age, a real Dragon Age 3. They don't have the shit that I want to play. So, I don't really care. What else? Ubisoft was boring as shit, and I give no shits about their conference. Matter of fact, I would rather have someone stick a hot needle in my eye than than watch that Ubisoft conference again. Which should tell you something. Let's see what else. Ubisoft. Activision didn't have a conference, but wasn't really surprised by the games they showed. Unless you're really in the mood for Ratchet and Clank Skylanders Edition. Or sorry, Crash Bandicoot, the Skylanders version. I give no shits about that franchise. Call of Duty, nah, don't give a shit about. Just don't. This year's E3 was very lackluster for third parties. So if you're really into third-party games, this E3 is not for you. At least if you're like me. So I think we covered those. We'll cover Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo after the cut. So, Microsoft's conference. Some people enjoyed it. I thought it was mediocre. Just, I mean, the information that we got from Microsoft was iffy at best. I mean, nothing was really a surprise. We all knew that Microsoft was essentially going to be doing a lot of stuff to fuse their handheld and gaming division. I mean, not their handheld, their PC and the Xbox division, and that's basically what they've been doing. They announced the Scorpio. They're like, yeah, it's gonna be 4K and all this shit. I'm just gonna keep it real. I personally believe that Microsoft's the Scorpio is just going to be a glorified gaming PC. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a glorified gaming PC. And personally speaking, I don't really give a shit about that. Not really, oh my god, this is so amazing. Don't give a shit. The Xbox One Slim, it's nice if you want to pick up an Xbox. The fact that it doesn't have Kinect, you need a Kinect adapter port in order to use it, is hilarious to me because, I mean, let's just face it, Kinect is done. It's dead. Microsoft basically said fuck it. And that's sad because, I mean, whether you like the Kinect or not, at least it was some form of innovation. The fact that Microsoft said fuck it is kind of worrisome. So the games. Don't give a shit about God of War, Recore, like the games that Microsoft showed really didn't excite me because a lot of those games are coming to PC. I have a gaming PC, so don't really give a shit about them. So yeah. See what else? That's it. That's the end of my take on Microsoft. I'll talk about Sony after the cut. So Sony's conference, in some ways, was even worse than Microsoft's. If I was forced to give a grade, I'm not going to give a grade. If I was forced to use a word, I would call Microsoft's conference boring and uninspired. I would call Sony's conference mediocre. Just completely mediocre. The games they showed, I don't give a shit about. The Last Guardian, don't give a shit about. The myriad of third-party games that are also coming to everything else that they were bragging about, don't give a shit about. Just don't give a shit about. The exclusives, Horizon looks cool, or it looked cool last year, but now it just looks like a, I mean, basically Horizon looks like a better version of Far Cry, except with robots. Which sounds cool, but, I mean, I have to see how it's done before I get all, this is going to be a great game, because I don't know. Now that I've gotten that out the way. PS4, anything. To me, it was a mediocre conference. Was it as bad as last year? I would say it's about even for me, just watching both of them. Didn't put me to sleep, but, I mean, I saw it when I was wide awake, so, Um, Not much to say about that. Um, and we'll get to the next, um, the next one after the cut. The one that didn't have a conference. Um, Nintendo. Okay, so it's time to talk about the conference that wasn't, the E3 conference that wasn't, because Nintendo basically, technically, didn't really have a conference. They just showed a whole bunch of games, which is refreshing. Last year, they haven't really had a conference, technically, for the last 3 years, so, I mean, that's good. What can I say? What Nintendo showed was interesting to me. But then again, I'm a Nintendo gamer. I like The Legend of Zelda. I like Pokemon. I like these games. I can understand why some people would be unimpressed, but I like the shit, so I'm happy. Um, that being said, um, I mean, I could gush for hours and hours and hours about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I won't. If you want to hear me expound upon how fucking awesome that game looks, stay tuned to BS Busters this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you'll hear me talk about it. Um, you know, just talk and talk about how awesome that game looks. But overall, I think what Nintendo showed were a lot of exclusives, a lot of experiences that can only be shown on their console, which is really what you want. You want exclusives. You want first party exclusives, not a whole bunch of shit that everyone else can see. I'm kind of looking forward to Oasis, Ever Oasis, because it feels like it's going to be the spiritual successor to Secret of Mana, which, I mean, that game was fucking awesome. So um, yeah, looking forward to that. Uh, let's see what else. That's it. Everything else they showed was pretty cool. We obviously know that Pokemon's gonna be the shit because that's how Nintendo rolls. But whatever. Um, so yeah, I'll give my overall thoughts after the cut. Well, these are just my overall thoughts on E3 this year. To me, E3 was mediocre at best. Um, just very mediocre at best. If I had to give it a grade, I would say the conferences, discounting Nintendo because Nintendo didn't really have a conference. Um, I would say that um, the third parties collectively got a D minus, and Microsoft and Sony got a D plus. So, like overall, a D. Uh, if you add Nintendo, who got a B, you could put that up to a C minus, solid C. Yeah, it's a solid C. It was a C conference. The only real bright spot was Nintendo, but aside from that, I thought it was rather lackluster and bleh, and blah, very bland. I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh no, it was fucking awesome." Yeah, okay. Um, if you say so. Um, Aside from that, um, this year's E3 was, like I said, it was a solid C, cumulatively, but individually it was kind of shitty, in my opinion, and that's just my opinion. So, whatever. Um, our next podcast is BS Busters. Look forward to that. It'll be this Saturday. That'll be on the 18th, the day before Father's Day. So, yeah. um, 7 Eastern Standard Time. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be talking about uh, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. We'll be baseless speculation, what we noticed, what we didn't notice. It's going to be fucking awesome. And with that, I bid you guys a good day and adieu. I'm gonna start uploading more videos again because I have a little bit more free time coming up. So yeah, peace out.